the other hand, in comparison, when you look at Asia Rising Stars or any of the, actually they weren't part of the Asia Rising Stars, but any of the other tournaments like the Face It Asia tournaments and the ESEA Asian League, they don't do as well as, let's say, Vietnam, South Korea, Japan, and these kind of nations. But they are the strong favorites coming into this group. There's no doubt about that. And this best of one is going to be deciding whether Kyrgyzstan is. We might have an upset on our hand. Maybe Kyrgyzstan will be the underdog that beats India, but at the same time, doesn't seem too likely. We've seen underdogs win some nice matches quite recently. Yesterday we saw Singapore beat Japan actually, which we did not expect to see. But joining me today, it's my honor to invite and to welcome Blue, who's a commentator who's done a lot of work for ESCA, and he's also done a bit of interview work for ESCA, right?
Yeah, I was casting the North American qualifiers for ESL1, and I did a little bit of casting as well as interview work there. So been helping out all around a little bit. I kind of jumped into CS a couple months ago, and it's been a great time since then.
Yeah, well, it's really nice to have you. I'm looking
forward
to doing a bit of commentary. I always like to have new guests and to see how it is and meet new people. So hopefully, this is weird because this is pretty much the first time we're actually properly talking. Yesterday, it was a bit of an emergency kind of meetup,
yeah.
But. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And yes, guys, you see, I am wearing sunglasses because it's Hitbox swag, and also because I woke up with the reddest eyes in the world due to the fact that I left my contacts in. So if you want to see my eyes, there you have it. Super red, super dead. And yeah, I don't want to give you guys, visual cancer by looking at my red eyes. So anyway, the map is Mirage. So let's take a look at the map overview on the screens here. It's an interesting map, and we do see a lot of it in the Asian qualifiers again and again and again. But Blue, tell us a bit about this map. What do you know about Mirage?
I know Mirage specifically coming off of spectating a lot of North American maps. It's a team that I found that a lot of the EU teams like to play and are really dominant at. This is definitely one of Virtus Pro's probably bigger maps, and a lot of those teams absolutely love these maps. But I'm guessing that emulates a little bit more over into the Asian scene as well, as I have very minimal. In fact, I think this is the first Asian game I've ever casted, but North American teams don't really like it, but overall, very strong map for those teams, and there's a lot of dynamicism to it as well. A lot of teams can sort of emphasize on it. We're going to really have to wait and see what kind of play that both Kyrgyzstan and India can bring to it, considering how organized they could possibly be. But if they brought their strats today, it could actually be pretty interesting.
Yep, indeed so. We'll see how these guys are able to play a Mirage. I mean, it was an interesting map to watch the South Koreans play on, the Japanese play on, and also Vietnamese. Vietnam look super strong on this map, but I wonder if these two teams will show that same level of quality. Now, some people in the chat saying, I'm high. I've not smoking any weed in my life. Ever, ever, ever. So I'm not high. Maybe I'd like to be high, but no, I'm not. Just to break anyone's bubble there. But yeah, that was the knife round, and the winner of the knife round gets to decide which half they'll start off on. And Blue, of course, it's a CT-sided map.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, pretty big CT-sided map there. Everybody knows that, and pretty heavily sided on that one. So depending on which side we see chosen here, and it looks like we'll be restarting. So yeah, Kyrgyzstan is going to be able to start off here on the CT side, or apologies, no, India, I think, is actually going to be starting off here.
Yeah.
On their side.
I don't know. I think it. Yeah, I think.
We'll see in a second.
Yeah, I think India asked for a switcheroo since they won the knife round. So they'll be starting on the CT side, even though there's a bit of a mistake with the Go TV up there. But like you expect to get about 5-6 rounds on the T side on a normal Mirage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So picking up the pistol round here on T side, which again the pistol round has so many implications on it just based on the way we see the teams move around here. So if Kyrgyzstan decides to get a pretty good push off here and it catches the Indian players off guard, they're not able to respond to it, and they pick up the pistol round. Assuming they don't have any troubles, the anti-ecos, that's like 3 out of 5 or 6 of those rounds right there. So it's a really good start, and it makes it really crucial. So you often see, like we have now, that more slower methodical play coming out from the T's on this map because it's so important to pick up those extra rounds early on.
Yeah, it's interesting. Usually we do see fast B pushes in, A pushes from the terrorists, but they're going to be able to push towards the B site with 2 players, taking down SMX. That's a good start here for Kyrgyzstan, and they're going to pick up another frag here on the market as well. 2 players now trying to play for the retake coming in from the market. They've got support from short, but it doesn't matter. The bomb's moving towards the A site anyway, and it's going to get planted there as well. So the CT is just being held off by Pachanga at the moment. He's firing away, and he survives for quite a while. He's done his job. It's 2 versus 3.
Ritz moves in there. He's going to take out Pachanga finally. As you meant to know, the jobs are done. The bomb is down. A 3v2 situation being lined up now as we got 2 more of the Indian players trying to rework their way in. None are going to go in there through the window room. A little bit cautious, of course, of the positioning coming out there from SNK. He's going to pop out. There's a lot of damage with Ritz and both Mytholith now as they're going to try to work back in, but running out of time so quickly. Mythlif is going to be able to grab a shot on the way in as he takes down SNK, and they're just going to go right for the defuse. The teammates trying to hold it off, going for it, but it's not going to happen. Kamazik is going to be able to take him down in India, or apologies, Kazakhstan, or Kyrgyzstan. They're going to be able to pick up the first round there. That flip that flip's going to throw us off a bit.
I'm predicting that we will have problems with the name of this great nation. So, you know, do excuse us from now. But really nicely done. I love that sneaky beaky by SNK. He kind of saw them, got the information that they're going from CT, then popped out a bit late. He didn't just fire straight away. So it's nice and patient from him. So we do have the full buy now from India. Forced buy, full buy from, from India. And I'm getting confused myself from the GoTV. And a forced buy. No, forced buy from India and a full buy from Kyrgyzstan as they've picked up a pistol round. As you said, that's a really, really good start here for the terrorists. But look at that. Ritz pushing forward with the scout. He'll pick up an easy frag on SNK. There's a return from Kamazik's Mach 10. The damage is being dealt.
We see that damage being dealt now here too. We're going to see Kyrgyzstan try to take a little bit more ground as they push forward. Unfortunately, smoke inside of the apartment's not going to let them do that too heavily at the moment. As we wait again here and see as India's players try to reposition themselves a little bit further over here towards the B site. But Die, once again, he'll move in. He's pushing out. He's not able to catch this player from India sitting down there, but he locks onto it anyway. Nice shot. Takes down SNX. Now as they go for the entry. But Changa, again, they're coming out strong. He's going to be able to take out another one of the defenders from India. They eliminate it. The bomb goes down. And now it's Manan and 1 as the last two alive. And they're not even looking to retake this at this point. They're stuck over here in mid. And they're going to look to pick up any frags they can before this round ends.
Yeah, well, they'll take down one player. At the moment, they're probably thinking maybe it's better off to save the weapons that we've got. Pachanga's going to try and hunt them down, though. They're moving towards builds. There's also one person there. There's no real time for them to actually get the bomb defuse at the distance they are at the moment. So India just trying to save the scout and the Mach 10 and armor that they've picked up. They're going to be on an eco for the next round, but this is good by Kyrgyzstan, making sure that the Indians making sure to convert the second round and also to perhaps even get a third round here and start off 3-0, which is perfect, absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and again, we did see the force buy there coming out, so these saves that come out now for the Indian players is actually going to be pretty big, as again, it does give them a little bit more luxury here to keep it going, and that pickup here too, I'm pretty sure this obviously had been picked up on that Mach 10 that came out from Manan. That's actually a pretty big grab too, considering he was able to save that, so now they can go for a little bit more of an upgrade this time. As you can see, 1 has gone for that 5-7 armor pickup again, so they're still holding a pretty strong defense here, considering again that this is still another eco for them, and might be able to pick up another kill. Those kills will help out on the gun runs, of course, try to keep Kyrgyzstan down a little bit. They're not doing enough damage right now to really impact things, but later on in the rounds when possibly Kyrgyzstan gets forced out a little bit more, it could help, of course, to stretch that economy and put them back on the eco faster when they're trying to retake the round advantage.
Yeah, wow, nicely done there by SMX, actually pushing towards T-spawn and picking up a frag as well for his troubles. With just the pistol, he tries to go to pick up the weapon, but Die is there to defend his team. And that's the thing with anti-eco rounds, you always have to try and stick together so you don't give away the weapon. Look at that, he throws it away. I mean, even though it's within sight, you can't pick it up. So it's just like, yeah, you can take a look at that weapon, but you're not having it. But yeah, you have to be careful. You have to be careful on the anti-ecos that you don't give away weapons. And for example, sometimes you could get a 5-man push and they can push 2 players, pick up 2 weapons, and maybe a couple of them are armored, and all of a sudden they've got a pretty good round on their hands. SNK pushes forward, takes down Ritz, but there's a return from Mythlif. This is a pretty good eco round here by Team India, bearing in mind they were able to save a scout and a weapon. Look at this one right now, running with the 5-7. He's got a position here at stair. Dai's going to see him. He's going to back away. Kamazik gets the entry on Mythlif at mid, and Dai will take down one. It seems like there'll be no more mistakes here by Kyrgyzstan as the bomb will be planted on the A site for sure.
And that's Manan trying to sneak out. Fortunately, though, gets caught a little bit prematurely, so Kamazek is going to be able to find him and again finish off the round for Kyrgyzstan. It was getting a little bit risky there for Kyrgyzstan towards the end of that. As we saw there, they were sort of losing middle control a little bit, and it was looking like they were going to have a risky time finishing off that round, but they managed again to work their way back over into the A site, get that bomb down without too much trouble, and then regrouped the 3 remaining players, took out those extra 2, of course, from the Indian roster, and then handled it from there. But now we head into the gun round. Those 3 free rounds have been picked up from Kyrgyzstan. Now it's time to see what they can do in the gun rounds, and this is going to be India's big chance to swing it back and take the lead from that point forward as well.
Yeah, this is a big test now for Kyrgyzstan. Can they continue picking up rounds now that the Indians are able to go for a full buy? We can see they've got a bit of utility, and it seems like the terrorists are getting ready for an A execute, with Pachanga probably moving in from underpass towards connector for a nice little split to pick up some frags. But he's not going to be leading the way. Actually, he's waiting for his teammates to go for the execute. Kamazik just firing away through the smoke here. He's got one teammate already inside. He's pretty badly flashed. Die trying to find something here on Palace. He's going to pop down, but Manan makes sure that his friend over at ladder will not die. Kamazak still looking for frags here. There's no jungle smoke, but Pachanga is actually coming in from connector. He picks up one frag. Manan with another. Ritz takes down Kamazik, and this is a really nice bomb site A defense here from Team India. SNK now remaining with the AK-47. And he's got a very, very troubling situation for him at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate here that they didn't manage to take down Ritz earlier, because he did a whole lot of impact there for the team. As you saw, he was able to spot up players on Tetris multiple times, do about half HP to about 2 to 3 different players, and then he even managed to make it through to the end of the round. Very low HP, of course, but still managed to keep himself alive. So great play and great overall timing coming out from Ritz, as he, again, key player there, making sure that Kyrgyzstan didn't even get close to finding their way onto that A-bomb site.
Yeah, excellent start on this buy round, and now it's time for India to take control of this game on the stronger side. They need to pick up a lot of rounds now. They don't want to allow Kyrgyzstan to get any more than 5 for the first half. Well, best case scenario is they don't pick up any more from now. Just a quick reminder, if you're having issues with the quality of the stream, it's 1080p 50 FPS, so you need quite good bitrate. If it's too high for you, you can just put it down to 720p and watch it then, just in case. Look at that. That's what happens when you're switching around positions on the A site and you've got one person, you've got terrorists peeking in. You're going to make a mistake like that, and that's a really easy frag for the Indians to give away. Look at this. 3 terrorists already in connect there. Nobody's got the information on mid. I don't know, Mythliv, he should have told them that perhaps they're moving in, and I don't think he has any idea. He's going to check, Dai's going to get an entry, and now the terrorists are moving in towards the A site.
And they've, again, the damage has been done, as you said, at this point. They got so much free reign over positioning. Now they're rolling in. Kamazik is trying to clean up one of the last players on this site. We got one on the rotate. SMX has actually been given back free control, and Manon's still holding his own as well. He's going to be able to find a headshot kill, takes out Kamazik. Now all of a sudden it's brought into a 2-on-2. Manon, though, heavily lit, down to just a single HP, as everybody else from Kyrgyzstan try to get into that site, and still no bomb plan either with 20 seconds left. Unfortunately, SMX has been forced out of here, as there was a call that would have said it was possibly moved over to the B site, but of course that's not happening, and amazingly, Manon actually made it up to the boxes there without finally dying. But now that plant's going to go down, and SMX, of course, with the M4, and now stuck in a 1-on-3. He's just looking to save at this point. So that'll be another round picked up from Kyrgyzstan, and they'll resume the lead, bringing things back up to a 4-1 in their favor.
Yeah, you see that this is really bad now, that India, because they've won a round, they don't have the loser bonus, so their money's not going to be good. And number 2, the thing is, it was really simple at the end of the day. When you don't have mid presence on the CT side, you don't have that information, then the terrorists are allowed to get really, really close and to get really favorable positions with the CTs not really aware. And they already lost a guy at jungle, so they were already 1 man down in the A site, and that just compounded it and made it worse and allowed the Kyrgyzstani players to get a very easy entry in towards the A site. SMX now probably will be able to save that M4, so it means that we might see a buy from them. We might see a force buy. They might just play with one M4. Mythliv is actually on 4.1k, probably due to a couple of kills he picked up maybe with an SMG. But either way, no. They're just going to buy armor on the players that have a bit of extra money so that they equalize the money. And it'll be pretty much an eco here from Team India.
And I like this strat. Unfortunately, it's going to meet a pretty early fate there, but that was actually a good idea from India, just to kind of have a line set up and having that M4 in the front, so it could essentially just get traded out to players after players here as they would fall. They could have more pick it up and try to hold things off in mid. As I said, it doesn't end up going so well, and pretty much as we expected there, Kyrgyzstan cleans things up with no trouble, as India was pretty much out of cash for that round.
Yeah, indeed. Sorry about that little camera thing. It was just looking at a dead corpse. Thank you very much, Auto Direct. But yeah, they're not going to win that. So Kyrgyzstan are up 5-1. They're already happy with the amount of rounds that they've got. But from now on, they can only go up. So full eco from the Indians as well. They've got a couple of nades. I'm assuming they're just going to try and nade T-ramp maybe, do a bit of damage. But the terrorists are going for mid control once more. It's a good idea by them. India, on the other hand, as well, with a very mid-heavy presence. They pick up a frag. SMX again with another eco frag, just like a couple of rounds ago. Quaker get an entry on the A site, and whoa, Pachang taking down his teammates. He's hungry for frags, man.
little bit of an accident. I think it was kind of funny actually, because I think he caught him as he was trying to jump over the box on site to take out the guy that was in the middle, and he accidentally got hit with his teammate's spray there. So that was a little bit of a mistake. But I mean, with how heavily Kyrgyzstan are rolling through this matchup right now, it shouldn't be too big of an issue, obviously, as they've got plenty of cash to spare at this point. Whereas India, of course, just coming off of that double save, now going to resume back into their buy round, and of course this will slow down the pace on Kyrgyzstan as well. They're going to take their time. They're going to wait for the picks, and they're going to wait for the setup here before they make any moves onto those sites, as they know India, once again here, will be rolling with the big guns.
Yeah, it seems like it's been pretty much a fairy tale start here for Kyrgyzstan against the favorites, really, on paper of the of Group C. So they can be pretty happy with their start. And now India have a chance once more to get back into this game. And it looks like Kyrgyzstan's team side is pretty strong at the moment.
And there's SNK once again opening things up for Kyrgyzstan, but that's on the A where the fake is going. India, they're going to see if they can catch this. They are rotating early, so they have caught it. And so far, another 1-for-1 trade happens up. Pachanga takes at SMX, one with the op, though. Going to be able to find Kamazek and Die takes out middle. The ops trading blows left and right, bringing things into a 2-on-3 here. Two big guns still up and rolling for the Indian team as Ritz is able to take out Pachanga, but Die again there. They're to correct that problem as he takes out Ritz. That one's all on one with the op. He's in a 1-on-2 situation. Should have some decent intel as to where these last two players are placed. As one once again moves in, looking for that shot. He's going to find it. Takes out Quaker. Now moving in, but the time going low. He's just going to go straight for the defuse. And again, Die's moving out. He's able to spot that. Die just rolling in. He wants to take him out, but they'll be playing with him here as it brings him down very close. The time, unfortunately, getting a bit too low. And Die obviously having the high ground there, having that big advantage. He's going to be able to win that 1-versus-1. And although, again, it'll be a very close round, Kyrgyzstan still comes out on top. And now leads 7-1 against India, who just can't seem to pick up the rounds here on the CT side.
Yeah, I mean, that Tech 9 with the movement is just really difficult to deal with. It's actually very well planted for that kind of play, and they'll end up clutching it. It was a nice try there by one, but he wasn't able to convert that to a round win. So 7-1 up. Kyrgyzstan are looking very, very dandy, but we do have 3 players on the underside from a team called Neckbreaker. I'm not too sure if the Team Wolf had some of these players. I can't remember, but the names do ring a bell, if that makes sense.
I think Neckbreaker was the team that played at the Asian Qualifier Series 1 like a month and a half ago. If I remember correctly. Unfortunately.
And do you remember how well they did?
Not very well. If I remember correctly, their only match was that I could find, at least from a quick VOD search, was that they got 16-0'd by Renegades. So obviously not too much to go off of there.
Yeah, that's not too great. Well, I guess the thing is, I mean, coming into this, the only real defining factor, I guess, of the Indian CSGO scene is the fact that they were able to get a slot in the major. Whether it was given to them by Valve or, you know, whether they earned it, that's a different question. But that must have given them a bit of experience, you know, practicing and getting ready to play against European teams, you know, allows you to develop a bit more, or allows the players to develop a bit more. But, I mean, they didn't have a great showing there. And you can safely say that teams like Vietnam, China, Japan, South Korea, they've got stronger CSGO sides, as we've seen recently in recent tournaments. But Kyrgyzstan has been a bit of a surprise. I mean, I've never seen any of these players before. I've not seen any Kyrgyzstani teams play in any Asian tournaments. So for that reason, it's all a new experience for me. And we do have a full buy once more from the Indians, but Kyrgyzstan have always had the answer. Let's see if they're going to have the answer again. It's going to be a push with 2 players coming in from Connector, while 3 will try and push the A side from the standard way. Nice Molotov over at jungle. That's going to force Ritz to change position, but they have to be careful the players over at mid because they do have a CT behind them, and he's not going to be able to do anything. Quicker takes him down. SNK with the entry frag on Mythil, and it's far too easy here for the Kyrgyzstanis. They've got connector control as well, and it makes pushing in towards the A site that much easier. There's one more Indian player here over at window, and SMX will go down to the AK-47 of Koika. It's one on his lonesome, all alone.
And you mentioned the control. That's probably the biggest thing so far that Kyrgyzstan seems to have over India. Is India just seems to be giving up so much. They seem to be so timid or scared. Probably the 2 best words to use here. Whenever there's just a simple smoke or a flash that comes in, they back up and they give huge amounts of areas of the map to Kyrgyzstan. So they're constantly able to pull off those big flanks like we just saw there, move completely through connector unopposed, and then completely destroyed everybody that was sitting inside of the window room. So plays like that, India just needs to try and hold a more stalwart defense. Otherwise, Kyrgyzstan is going to continue to push into them and take map control. And especially, again, the big thing when you talk about how some of the European teams like to play this map, like VP, if you give them mid control, they absolutely dominate from there. And so far, Kyrgyzstan has been getting a lot of these rounds based off the fact that they get mid control and they use that to get in a window or connector, and right from there, they essentially got the A site, as India can't do anything to stop it once they got both those angles pushing in.
Yep, indeed so. Now, they don't really have a great buy here. Only 3 FAMASs. Oh, well, not only 3 FAMASs, but only 2 M4s is what I wanted to say. But they've got 3 FAMASs. And I mean, as it is, it just seems like Kyrgyzstan's going to completely dominate them. So the next question is, will Palestine be able to play as well as the Kyrgyzstanis? Because as far as I'm concerned, Kyrgyzstan have pretty much picked up this best of one. I mean, it is a CT-sided map, and picking up 10 rounds pretty much means that the team... Oh my lord, that shot by Die. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And look at this, it's just systematically ending the Indian players across the map, and really, really nice. And the thing is, the Kyrgyzstanis, honestly, on a level, they're not playing super tactical CS. They're not playing very kind of structured CS, if you want to call it that, the players are given free roam. You can see different players holding different positions all the time and pushing, just trying to find entries on the B side, on mid, on the A side, and they're just getting those entries. They're just so much better individually at the moment.
And I think you make another good point there too is the fact that we see the fact that Kyrgyzstan here too just has a lot of really good fraggers, and overall on the T side that can work really well against a team that may be newer, is still refining their strategies on this map. That's often why we see North American teams not doing so well. And even if you look at like 90% of the lower tier games in North America that I've watched, you often actually see the T side taking the advantage earlier on in the half as SMX actually finds the first frag there. So this isn't potentially over if India can maybe swing back these last couple rounds and bring it up to something like 11-4, say the worst. Beyond that, of course, it's pretty much impossible. But if Kyrgyzstan's CT side defense is just as possibly unorganized or unrefined as India's, then there still might actually be a chance to swing it back if India's fragging power is a little bit stronger on the T side, just because of how much easier things can possibly work over there.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and we've actually seen that happen in the Asian qualifiers. Malaysia, I think, was playing against China, and they were ahead 11-3 on the T side, but China was able to catch up and win 16-14. So you can never really discount a team, especially with these mixed style tournaments where the players don't usually play with each other a lot. It sometimes does favor the terrorist side, simply because they're not as organized and there's not as much teamwork. And when you play, and it might seem like, oh, hang on a second, you need more teamwork to play on a T side because of the executes. In fact, honestly, on a level, you need more teamwork for the CT side.
Yeah.
And the terrorist side is just about getting those entries and then working from there. Somebody making some nice calls, nice mid-game calls is very helpful. At the end of the day, if you win those 1v1s, if you win your peaks, then you're going to win on the T side. But on the CT side, it's a bit different. There's more kind of chemistry involved, rotations, holding the right angles, flashing each other in and out, and such.
Yep, and that's where having something like a good shot caller or a good in-game leader comes into play here. And unfortunately, again, just because of the fact that we don't know how long these teams have been practicing together and whatnot, we don't really know how refined or how well the IGL actually knows the rest of his team. So unfortunately, he can't make as strong of calls on the CT side to pull off a lot of the situations. So they're getting caught out so often. And whoever the IGL here is for India probably can't do much with that. But there will be a 1-for-1 trade to start things off. India holds strong for now. There's a little bit of a gap that Dai can use to get through, and another great shot from him. One is going to fall to that, and they essentially could just roll right into B at this point. One more still waiting in the room, already dropped down to 5 HP. Can't see him yet. He's sitting to his bottom right, but he spots the gun and gets that jump shot there. Pick it off, Manan. Oh my goodness, Dai is an absolute monster with the op, and already now dropped down to just 2 more Indian players left in this 13th round.
You know what? Dai is looking like a really solid AWPer, and it's very, very important, I think, especially in these kind of tournaments. Again, I keep mentioning, sorry, it's a mixed type tournament. Having a good AWPer really, really strengthens your map pool and strengthens the maps that you're good at. Like something like Dust 2. You know, if you have a really good AWPer, teams like China with a player like Captain Mo, Malaysia with K's, they are so good on Dust 2 because they've got a very good AWPer, and you can really shut down. Even Mirage is quite good for AWPer. Sometimes we even see double op setups or an AWP and an auto sniper on the CT side. So having a good AWPer is very, very helpful, and right now Dai is proving that. I want to take a quick look at the squads, and you can see he's top fragging at the moment. He's got 16-4 as the AWPer, and because the money is so good for Kyrgyzstan, he's able to pick up the AWP every single round. He's not even losing it really, and for that reason, India, they're not being able to pick up an AWP. India not having the right utility, and their economy is so badly hurt. Even though they're getting the 3.4k bonus, they're trying to buy every single round because so far they need to win every single round from now on if they even want to have a chance, because 12-1, 13 rounds in, it's too bad for the CTs.
Yeah, and I mean, it would have been. You talk about the double op setup. You see a lot of that on the CT side, and had we seen India been able to, maybe string like 1 or 2 of these rounds together, or just go for a really big save? If they've been able to get a double op setup, a lot of these takes have been very quick, and an op probably could have done a lot of damage had we seen a double op setup at some point here. But again, it's just so unfortunate that India just hasn't been able to pick up these rounds here, because had they have, it would have unlocked so much more potential in the defense, and they just haven't been able to string it together. And so far, Kyrgyzstan, again, another great frag from Dai as he takes out Ritz, continuing to dominate so far in this half.
I mean, it's just individually they're a bit better. Ritz, they had the man advantage, and you're on the CT side. There's no real need to go for that kind of risk and push forward. Now it's 3 versus 3. They're moving in towards the B side. SMX is still on the side. He's going to get one frag, takes down Kamazik. There's one person coming in from Halls. Mythil picks up the frag on Quaker, and that's a good B side defense here by the 2 Indian players. Another round for India, and we have half point at the moment. India, I guess they can get 3 rounds, so just in case they lose the pistol, they still might have a chance. But as far as I'm concerned, I think Kyrgyzstan have this map in the bag. And it's a best-of-1 group stage, and due to the fact that it's only 3 teams in this group, you're only playing 2 best-of-1, sadly. So it means that one mistake is pretty much fatal for your success in the tournament.
And that was actually pretty well executed from India. Just to go back to that last round for a moment too, like they knew again that there was going to be a big rush in from Kyrgyzstan, and Kyrgyzstan probably had so much confidence at that point that they probably just assumed that site was clear. You can see there was nobody really looking around to try and clear site out, so they just had those 2 players waiting on the corner pillars there, and that was perfectly re-entered. They never left, to be completely honest. But that was perfectly re-executed by India. If they've been pulling off so much more like that in this half, we probably could have seen a much bigger scoreline. And again, this is good for them. You can see they've been playing so aggressive. They've been looking and hunting for these frags earlier on, and they have been finding them. And now they're playing back. They're playing default positions, and it's just working great for them. As now, all of a sudden, Kyrgyzstan is having trouble getting into this site once more.
Yeah, for the final round of the half, it seems like they have stopped the Kyrgyzstanis in their tracks. 2 CTs backing away towards B site and win. I don't know why they've done that, knowing that the bomb's down on the A site, but Rich is going to re-peek here from Connector. He'll find Pachanga. Now it's just Kamazik in a 1 versus 3. Bomb down right in front of him. He takes down Menan. 1 versus 2 now. Ritz on relatively low health. Are they going to peek him at the same time? Oh my goodness. 2 1v1s. SMX, and it's the wallbang from Kamazik. Fantastic clutch. 1 versus 3. And what a wonderful way to end the first half. He just went for it. 4K for Kamazik. And that's really, really, that must be horrible for the Indian morale. I mean, you're thinking, right, let's get the final round of the first half. Let's start off the second half nice and strong. But then you have Kamazik just pop out of nowhere and pick up a 3K like that. Fantastic.
That was so unfortunate there too, because I'm sure the entire chat's going to spam back at this point. But actually, he knew exactly where he was, because Ritz came bouncing into mid-connector there. He could have heard him from a mile away with how much noise he was making. He was positioned right outside the staircase. Obviously, I'm pretty sure Ritz wouldn't have known this at the time, but with how heavily he rolled in, that was actually a pretty easy wallbang to find. So greatly played there by Kamazak, and great usage again of just the sound system.
Exactly. And I mean, it's a very common wallbang as well, because of the fact that the wall is a lot thinner. You do a lot more damage from that position. It's one of the new additions to Mirage. But yeah, to mention, there is a bit of a ping discrepancy between the 2 teams. I mean, India is playing with 30 or 40 MS more, but here it is. It's an A execute coming in from the Indians, and look at this, Kyrgyzstan teaching them how to play the A side. Very nicely done by Dai. But look at this, 3 returns from Ritz and Manan all of a sudden, and it's back to a 2-on-2, level heading. As SNK tries to fire away. Look at that headshot of Manan. I don't even think he knew that there was a terrorist behind that box there. Beautifully done. And Kyrgyzstan hunting for Ritz, as India pretty much losing any chances of coming back into this game with the loss of this pistol. Fantastic work. And you see the difference. They kind of played behind the smokes. They made a quick rotation. They had a lot of men in the site, and they were able to land their shots. And also they were able to cut off any terrorists coming in from Connector. But it was really nice by those 3 players. I mean, I missed it on my go-to. I don't know how they got those 3 frags straight away, or 2 players got those 3 frags straight away. But either way, Kyrgyzstan were able to win that 2 versus 2 clutch at the end.
And this is essentially GG right here, as you had mentioned. The pistol picked up by Kyrgyzstan. Not only pistol here, but the pistol on that one. That pretty much seals the deal here, unless somebody makes a huge mistake. Tech 9s, though. Let's not forget those, and those could, of course, be very strong. That's a great nade that comes out from Kyrgyzstan, though. Completely destroys them. Dai's even going to pick up a nade kill for himself there as they continue. But, however, they're striking back. India not down just as of yet. Unfortunately, though, the strength falters, and it's now brought down to just that single last player. They're toying with them as they go in and out of cover. And Kyrgyzstan, again, going to re-execute. Only losing 2 of their players there, and now sitting at match point 15-2. Dominating India, and India coming off of that last Tech 9 buy. They're going to go for it again. And they're basically just going to go all in at this point, quite obviously.
Kyrgyzstan with a real surprise best-of-1 here against India. Didn't expect this at all. 16-2. And now they've gone for a Tech 9 armor buy. As you just mentioned the round before, can be pretty brutal. But I don't know if the Indians will be able to take full advantage of that movement accuracy that you get with the Tech 9. I mean, rushing into the B site, if you don't have a good player, it can be pretty brutal. Quacker as a jumping scout. That's the perfect position for a jumping scout. We see a lot of players play it. One's going to get an entry onto Dai over towards mid, and now it's a push towards the B site. They're probably going to be able to get somebody pushing in from short. SMX has taken his time, and he's not going to win that 1 versus 1 versus Pachanga. They go through Kachang, landing shots. Oh, Quaker, sorry, Kachang. Quaker now finishing them off with the USP, and it's just 2 terrorists remaining between Kyrgyzstan and the 3 points. Somebody trying for the knife? Well, one.
He's dead.
He finds SNK. He does a bit of damage on him. They're still alive. They're still fighting here, the Indians. And oh, there you go. In just pretty much a second, the last two Kyrgyzstani players all getting the frags. And there you have it, Kyrgyzstan 16-2 against India. Crazy performance. I mean, Blue, do you have anything to say about that?
No, that was actually pretty unexpected. Obviously, again, I think you and I both had very, very minimal knowledge of what we were to expect here from Kyrgyzstan coming into this matchup. India, of course, having, I think, quite a few chances for international exposure in the past, I would say, like, year and a half here for, I would say, most of the roster. I think 2 or 3 of the players were on the team that attended the ESL 1 qualifiers. And while they didn't get to play too much there, it's still great to get that international exposure against some of the Aussie teams who, obviously, again, are able to play at that much higher tier in the region. But Kyrgyzstan surprising us by quite a bit here with that 16-2, absolutely decimating India, as, again, they just couldn't pick up anything on that CT side, and with that huge advantage, didn't really leave much else to do in that second half.